Alright, what's going on, dudes? Bubba G here, and I know, you guys are gonna probably wondering, it, where has my videos gone, and why haven't I been posting? Well, here it is. I moved. I'm no longer in Colorado. I'm here in San Antonio, Texas. So right now I'm trying to get Wi-Fi into my new apartment. Stay tuned. I am gonna make more gaming videos coming up. You watch. I am gonna make some more. Starting with Destiny 2. And, well, obviously, because I play Destiny 2 and Fortnite. So it's probably be about back and forth between the two. Plus NFL content, plus Call of Duty content, and all that stuff. But today, we're going to be talking about NBA basketball. Now, for you guys that don't know, I am also a basketball fan. Usually you have two teams. Well, no, usually you have one. I have two. I have the Los Angeles Lakers, and I have the Brooklyn Nets. And, this stuff involves around, the talks of Kyrie Erving potentially opting out of his fifth-year option on his contract. Which, for what I saw, more likely that is the case. He is going to opt out. And for all I know of, the reason why, it's because he likes the taste of going to the Lakers with his former Cavaliers teammate, LeBron James. And the reason if on the Lakers side of things, I think the reason why they did not try to trade for Kyrie, it's because they would have to pay Kyrie whatever's on his contract, which means they would have to take money out of all the other players' accounts to actually pay for him. So basically, if Kyrie goes to LA, he's going to have to apply by their rules. Take a really long pay cut. Because the Lakers have no money. None. They can't afford big names on the free agency market at all. All they can do is talk to a bunch of veteran dudes in the NBA and see if they'll be willing to take a pay cut if they sign with them to win a title. And that's not the case. So, back to the Nets side of things. See, if Kyrie does go to the Lakers, this also affects Kevin Durant's problem, because there's talks of Kevin Durant also potentially wanting to get out of Brooklyn, because Kyrie Irving's the main reason Kevin Durant even came to Brooklyn. Well, honestly, it would probably be kind of the similar situation if this happened on the Knicks. So if this happened on the Knicks, it wouldn't be surprising. Because the Knicks, their history is not, it's rich, but they haven't been, they haven't even been to the NBA championship game in who knows how long. They haven't been in the playoffs for 2 years now. Now, you might say, how's that bad? If you don't know what happened before that, they had the longest playoff drought. One of the longest in the NBA. I think they were the top two. It was them and the Sacramento Kings as the two teams that had the longest playoff drought. Now the Knicks don't have that anymore. But back to the Nets side of things. I mean, as a Nets fan, if we manage to lose both Kyrie and Kevin Durant this offseason, honestly, I think our open window to get a title is now gone. Because right now, I really need Ben Simmons to actually take their helm now and actually find a way to keep KD in Brooklyn. Because with these two, with that team, Yes, they can do damage. But if Kevin Durant leaves, the Brooklyn Nets are not going to have anyone else. I mean, yeah, they'll still find a way to push into the playoffs, but they're not going to be in that, title contention topics anymore. Like before KD and Kyrie went to Brooklyn, the Nets, yeah, they went to the playoffs, but they were always going to the playoffs as one of the lower seed teams, and they're always eliminated in the first round. But if Ben Simmons does play, then hopefully they find a way to keep Kevin Durant. Maybe that still keeps our championship door open. That's what I'm thinking. It keeps our door open, but not by much. Now, as for the Lakers side of things, if the Lakers do manage to acquire Kyrie, that does also bump them up to, contend. Well, not really contend. More like actually pass the in-play tournament, the play-in tournament. Because we already know LeBron's going to get hurt a lot next season. If Anthony Davis doesn't get traded, then we already know he's going to get hurt. He's usually the first one of the two that gets hurt. And this constant injury cycle between LeBron and Anthony Davis, it's affecting the Lakers, win percentage. So they really need to try to keep them healthy. If one of them goes down, you might get more wins with Kyrie as the other guy on the floor. But if you want a title, you actually need to make sure that these three are healthy. Now, I'm forgetting about Westbrook, but deep down I'm thinking he's gonna get traded before the season even starts. So yeah, that means he's gonna go somewhere. And right now, the top team that's actually willing to trade for Westbrook, it's the hometown team that's here, the Spurs. The Spurs are actually the top team on that list that could potentially call the Lakers in a trade conversation. Now, all the Spurs really have is young talent, which right now, if you're the Lakers, you need that young talent. Because right now, the Lakers have nothing but older, experienced players on their roster. They hardly have any young guys. You need that type of young talent on your bench. I'm pretty sure they drafted, 2, 3, maybe 4 guys this year in the draft. But that's not enough. You need to get more young talent on that bench. To give your older, experienced players a rest. That's why we've been seeing Anthony Davis and LeBron and other players on that bench get hurt. Because they're experienced players. They're in their 30s, early 30s, mid 30s, you name it. They're there. But same goes for Kyrie. He needs to stay healthy if the Lakers hope maybe slip into the NBA championship series. So if this is true, Kyrie is opting out of his contract, then that means a score for the Lakers. Because right now the Lakers are on that top list for Kyrie to go. There was a couple on a list that that are willing to trade for him or sign for him, and both teams in LA want Kyrie. If the Lakers get him, you get that Cleveland duo that won that city a title back in 2016. If you get Kyrie on the Clippers, then you'll have a trio of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Kyrie Irving. And that would actually make the Clippers, a massive title contender. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard as a duo, if they're healthy, that makes them a contender of sorts. But if you had Kyrie, that definitely makes you one. The Knicks also, they wanted Kyrie. But this doesn't come as a surprise because, when Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant were done with their teams, when Kyrie was done in Boston, KD was done in San Francisco, both New York teams were on that top list as the guys that wanted these two. The Knicks, like Stephen A. from ESPN, he was excited that the Knicks were trying their very best to actually get Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant in New York City. Because to Stephen A., they were showing that they were willing to put all the chips on the table to actually make a change and actually make their organization a playoff team again. And the Nets beat the Knicks to the punch. So it worked. Kyrie and Kevin Durant took the Brooklyn Nets, into the top 2 or top 4 spots in the playoffs the last couple of years. Well, like the Nets 2 years ago, they were right there to go to the championship series before the referees called a challenge on Kevin Durant's three-pointer. Because otherwise, we would have seen Phoenix and Brooklyn go at it. And who knows, maybe Brooklyn would have been the champions that year. If that happened, it would have been a success. But it didn't. Milwaukee ended up going, and Milwaukee became the champions. And now, who knows what's going to happen? I have no clue. But that was it for today. Like I said, I will be making more gaming videos, once I get Wi-Fi in here and for my new apartment. So stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, and comment on what you think is going to happen with the Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant situation. If you're a fan of these teams, 2 teams I just talked about, then explain how you would like to see things go. If you're on another team, you probably wouldn't. If you're fans of another team, you probably wouldn't care. But it wouldn't hurt to fantasize, of where KD could go. So, I'd like to hear from your thoughts. Peace out, boys.